Hello and welcome to Played by NCG, our weekly look at the courses that we have been out and about playing. And this week I am joined by editor Dan Murphy.
Hello.
Hello. You've been to Machrihanish Dunes.
I really have.
For the second time? The third time?
I've been to Machrihanish several times. This is only my second time that I played golf at Mach Dunes.
It's still quite impressive, though, isn't it? It's not been open long and it's not easy to get to.
No, it is not easy to get to. When it comes to outposts, I would say that Mach Dunes, Machrihanish is right up there.
So what were you doing up there?
Well, you're sort of down there, aren't you? That's the funny thing about it.
What?
When you're at Machrihanish, you're kind of down there because it's like falling off the bottom of Scotland.
Yeah, but it's definitely up from here.
Well, it's up from here, yeah, but in Scottish terms, it could have been more down, really.
Right. I feel like I'm in a nursery rhyme.
I was on holiday, and what I will tell you is that later on the same holiday, naturally, I found myself on the very north coast of Scotland, and I would say that it felt more remote to me down on the Kintyre Peninsula in the southwest of Scotland.
Yeah, because it properly sticks out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you took your family there, which is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you did actually play golf with your 7-year-old? 6-year-old?
Turned 6, yeah. 3 generations we had, actually. I should have got that in as a slide, really, shouldn't I? But yeah, 3 generations played golf on that holiday. Played grandfather, dad and son.
Brilliant. So
brilliant.
Break him in gently with a windy links.
With a windy links, yeah. We loved it.
Excellent. So show us where it is then.
Okay, so just to get your head round the geography of this, I can't really soft soak this.
Particularly phallic piece of land, isn't it?
It'll take you, if you're so inclined.
You can't leave me hanging with that, or let's just move on from hanging.
So it's a 3-hour drive from Glasgow, and then obviously you have to get to Glasgow in the first place.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's the only way you have to do it. The only way you can do it, you have to go up north to Loch Lomond, up to the Trossachs, then you get to Crianlarich, and you turn a sharp left, and then you head down to a beautiful drive, but it does take forever.
That is amazing, isn't it? That it's 3 hours from there.
Yeah.
Well, what has happened to the ferry that we've taken that you used to be able to get from Troon?
Yeah, so you can see that in between the Ayrshire coast and Troon and such places, and Kintyre sits the Isle of Arran, which is very well connected by boat, and it is possible to go from Troon to Arran to Kintyre. There is a very irregular service. The locals, when I was there, were moaning about the service from Troon to Campbelltown, which is the town that's nearest to Machrihanish, the only town really on the Kintyre Peninsula, and the boats are irregular at best, and apparently they use the oldest boat that the provider has, and then as soon as the weather is even slightly dubious, then they just cancel the sailing, which is obviously terrible for the tourist industry, because often, as I understand it, they have people booked in and they get a call that morning saying, well, we can't get in because the boat's been cancelled. So the other option is you can fly in from Glasgow on a little plane, so not for the faint-hearted. No. And that flies into Campbelltown.
Yeah, and Irish listeners, viewers, whatever, might be interested in. You presumably get there quite easily from Port Rush, can you?
Yes, you can. Yeah, it's you can see across to Northern Ireland. It really isn't very far at all. I think it might be 8 or 9 miles as the crow flies from the Kintyre Peninsula.
Yeah, and that stretch of water, sort of here, is kind of very romantic, isn't it? You sort of pointed out Arran, but there's also the Mull of Kintyre.
There is.
There's also Ailsa Craig.
Yes, you can see Ailsa Craig, which is quite surprising, but Ailsa Craig is within view on a clear day. And then on the other side, you can see across to Gigha, spelled Gigha. Where else can you see across to?
Egg, Mull?
No, neither of those. You can see across to Islay.
Oh yeah, where they make the whiskey.
And where the Machrih, more importantly, is found.
That's where Jura whiskey is, I think.
Yes. Yes, you can see Jura, yeah.
Is there not that pub as well that's open, like, to people who've got boats?
Yeah, that's somewhere in the middle of the sea, isn't it?
That's still, okay, we'll move on, shall we? Yeah. Okay, cool. So that is a very, very remote spot, isn't it?
Yeah, so all the better to be discovered. But yeah, it is remote. It's beautiful, but it'll take some getting to.
Right. So what is that?
So that is where you can stay. They are the fantastic Ugadale cottages. So until about 15 years or so, there was just the hamlet of Machrihanish, just a couple of houses really. And an American company called Southworth decided that there was scope to build a new golf course, but also recognised that there needs to be some accommodation as well. So they've built these fantastic cottages, Just on the left of the picture, you can see the old clubhouse. So they've turned that into a dining pub, and then next door is a hotel. So now you can really base yourself down here for a couple of days. Play 2 fantastic golf courses, and you need to be able to do that because it's not like the sort of place that you find yourself passing through.
And there are 2 golf courses in Machrihanish, so there's the old links and then Dunes, which we're talking about now, but there's also a 3rd golf course on the peninsula at Dunaverty, isn't there?
That's right, yeah. Just outside the tiny village, makes Machrihanish look like Glasgow. That place is called Southend or Southport. Southend, I think it's called. It's called Southend.
Yeah.
There's a nice beach down there. There's a golf course called Dunaverty. And you can park up at Southend and take a walk to the Mull of Kintyre, immortalised in song, of course, by winds.
So it's a long way, but it's a genuine golfing destination now. 3 golf courses, and as you've experienced, you took your family there, and presumably plenty to do away from golf.
I mean, you're right on the beach. It's a gorgeous place to spend a few days. Yeah. Just to be clear, so Machrihanish is ancient, old-time Morris design, and that's been there forever. And then Machrihanish Dunes, which we're talking about here, which arrived, I think it's nearly 10 years old now. It's next door to Machrihanish, but a very different type of course actually.
And not connected anyway in ownership or management?
No.
Right. Okay, cool. So we've asked you to pick out kind of 3 things which you think are a feature of the golf course, or anything indeed from your trip. You've chosen blind shots, as depicted by a marker post. I like it.
Yeah. So the thing you need to know about Machrihanish Dunes is that...
is this chap part of your party?
Yes, that's my father-in-law.
Excellent.
So the thing you need to know about Machrihanish Dunes is that it's a course that was built on a triple SI site. They couldn't, and I don't think really wanted to move any earth.
Can you explain to us what that means?
So that means it's a site of special scientific interest, and it effectively means there are things like birds and flowers, fauna, and you basically can't touch the land. And I know, because we once shared a boat with a lady, a botanist, coming across in its early days, or possibly before it opened actually.
Yeah.
And she was very concerned about the golf course, so it was quite a prickly couple of hours on the boat really, on a very small boat. She really didn't want the golf course to be there, did she?
Not particularly, no. But I mean, that is a sort of factor, isn't it, with a lot of these new links courses or newer links courses, that there's sort of a reason that there haven't been golf courses there before, and one of them is legislation around fauna and wildlife, but they sort of it's one of the big features of Mach Dunes that they sort of coexist with the wildlife. They've managed to do it without sort of tampering with stuff too much. Yeah, so it's a very, very simple minimalist design, and I think that when they first opened, I'm not sure that all the visitors quite understood that, because the greens weren't brilliant and the condition wasn't brilliant. And that's because they hadn't doused the course in fertiliser, they hadn't imported turf, they hadn't built massive new tees, so it was very much as you found it. And I think some people understood that and relished it, and some people perhaps wasn't quite what they were looking for. But just to say that several years on, I'm happy to report that the condition of the course was unrecognisable from the first time I was there. And the greens putted beautifully. They've got quite a lot of grass on them, I'll come on to that in a minute because of the contouring, but the course is in great shape. So the net result of a lot of this not being able to move earth is you get a lot of blind shots, basically. Which is what happened in the old days, because linksland is uneven and rumpled. So you're sort of painting a picture of like a sort of blown up Prestwick sort of thing, a kind of gigantic version of. So it's got some outrageous holes, I mean, and it's all the better for it. But there are lots and lots of blind shots, and not everyone likes them. And you have to have the imagination and just be accepting of them really, because there are marker posts all over the place. But there are quite a lot of holes where you can't see the fairway, and then maybe you can't see the green as well. Right. Okay. So it's not going to hold an Open Championship anytime soon. I wouldn't have thought so. No, there's some infrastructure issues there. Yeah. So since it first opened, they have reversed the nines. I'm not entirely sure why they've done that. But they have. But it was just to show, to give you an idea really of the topography and just how many holes there are running along the sea. I mean, you're really close to the beach, and certainly on the new nines, you're absolutely straight into it. Like it's been the beach here, presumably. That's the beach there, yeah, exactly, yeah. And just so you can get your bearings, just to the south, so down maybe you can see the fifth green there, that is the airfield, and the other side of the airfield is Machrihanish, as in the old course. So it's all very close to each other. So do you think it's one of these, if they've reversed the holes, is one of these places where they could have almost played the course in any order? Feels like that, yeah. The only thing I've got against the reversing of the nines
the 18th was the one hole that didn't quite sit right to me. Now I may just have been tired and may have made a mess of it, but I actually went in completely the wrong direction. And not because I hit a bad shot on the last. I thought that was very confusing. It didn't quite look right to me. Might just have been me. Whereas the front nine really doesn't miss a beat for me. It was just like exciting all the way through.
Cool. Your final third thing, the topography is out of this world, which has got to be a contradiction in terms.
I mean, just look at the way that the land is moving there. I mean, there was just so much fun to be had at Mach Dunes. You're always there's always something between you and the flag, and that's if you're like 8 feet away sometimes.
It's one of Farage's and Trump's wind farms there, look, ruining Scotland.
The greens, absolutely amazing, such good fun. So there's lots of like wacky slopes and little platforms and low bits, and you can like run it round the side of hills and bring it down off walls of death. But the clever thing about it is that the greens are not overly quick, so that to me is brilliant, because you're not scared of the greens, but you can really get stuck in with them, so you can do enjoyable things with them, but you're giving it a bit of a whack, so you're not frightened of embarrassing yourself and putting it off the green.
I remember that from when we first went. The green complexes, they are just out of this world, aren't they? Which is presumably a result of the land not moving. They just have to deal with what they've got.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's part of the defences. You can definitely make some birdies here. Some of the holes are really quite generous. A couple of really cute short fours and a couple of scoreable fives, and a little bit like Old Head, that it'll get its own back on you at some point, like any links course, but it'll give you a few as well. And the feeling I had this time was it was playing like a genuine holiday course. The first time I went, I thought it was very hard. Maybe we just played off the back tees, but it was quite shaggy and wild, and it wasn't always clear where you were going. And this time I thought that I think they've just taken a lot of grass off the golf course, which I'm a huge fan of, and it's just made it into like a giant playground basically.
Right, so I mean this is like sort of genuinely educational, because a lot of these kind of giant links that have been built in the last decade have been built with, oh, we must have an open in mind, or we've got to be championship in stature, or it's got to be a proper test, whereas this sounds like a golf course for golf course's sake, really.
I think, yeah, one for holiday makers, one for the purists. It's designed by David McClay Kidd, who people may know designed the Castle Course at St Andrews, a Scotsman, and I think he saw it as his one chance to build a course that was the sort of course that his forefathers built. And I think the emphasis is just on enjoyment, and I love the way they presented it.
He did the Tasmanian courses as well, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So he's had some good bits of land to work with.
Absolutely, yeah. But I think this would have been a challenge because it was so restricted. But I think he embraced that, and I think what you're seeing now, it just shows you that golf courses take a while to bed in, and I think now at whatever it is, 10 years old, you can see now what he had in mind. I just thought this golf course was brilliant fun, and when I finished playing, I just wanted to go and do it again, which is a great sign.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So what happens when you have finished playing and you can't go and do it again because you've got 2 children and a wife? What is there to do?
Well,
that is a really nice picture, by the way. Did you take that?
I did take that, yeah. So the small town of Campbelltown, which is like the harbour, where the harbour is.
So the other side of
on the other side. It's only like 6-7 miles away, and you can wander about in there. No particular need to if you're there for a few nights, but what you can do is eat well in what they call Machrihanish village, and you can then literally walk across the road and watch the sunset. And that is not many places you can do that, and it's one of those enormous sunsets where it's just like melting into the sea. So, pretty cool way to end your day, really.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Can we afford it?
Oh, I'll tell you what,
we can afford it.
I'll tell you what I was going to say just before we moved on there. The model for the clubhouse at Mach is very clever. It's very, very small. It's like a large hut, really, and it's the same. It's that King's Barnes idea, which is that you go in here to play your golf, and you can get a nice bowl of soup or a sandwich. But really, once you finish, they'll get you back into the village, and you won't spend any time there. So I quite like that. It's just minimalist, and it kind of matches the golf course as a whole.
Yeah.
So yeah, green fees surprisingly affordable, and I guess because as good as the golf course is, you've really got to love your golf to get yourself out here. But amazingly good value, and the one that sticks out to me there is that twilight rate. I mean, how good is that? You can play in the middle of summer on these beautiful evenings for less than 40 quid.
It'd be like till like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
Anytime you want, you're on the west coast.
Yeah. And was it busy when you were there?
No, the golf course was not particularly busy. It was reasonably early in the morning. I had the feeling that the golf course wasn't hugely busy.
This was August time, wasn't it?
It was August time. Might just have been the day I was there as midweek.
So if you wanted to go up and play it, you could probably assume that you'd be able to take advantage of that twilight rate midweek in the summer even.
Yeah, you would think, yeah.
Yeah, so that is absolutely incredible value,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And there are some. There were no prices available at the moment, but you can get a deal if you want to go and stay in the hotel. Or I'd recommend the cottages are absolutely amazing. I always think the cottage is very good for a golf trip. You've got loads of room, haven't you, to bring your stuff in and get sorted if your kit gets wet.
Yeah, cool. So come on then, summarise.
So I think it's the land, isn't it? And I think even on that picture you can really see how the land is moving, and there's like fun things happening. You can see all the holes. You're very much in the middle of things at all times. It's an incredibly simple, natural design. Greens are off the charts in places, but not in a humiliating sense. You can make some birdies. You have to embrace the type of golf it is. It might not be for everyone. There are some holes where you might say, I just don't know where to hit it because there's just an expanse out there, sort of roll North Devon kind of look to it, or an old course kind of look to it, but bring it on as far as I'm concerned. And the conditioning is excellent, and that is much improved. So anyone who's been there 7 or 8 years ago, and I have heard people who've sort of muttered a bit about the conditioning and said, well, it can't be a top 100 course if the conditioning's not all that. Well, that was certainly not an issue when I was there in August, and this is definitely a top 100 course as far as I'm concerned.
It is what it is, as they say.
Absolutely.
Sounds awesome, like genuinely different.
Yeah.
Right, I've been busily thinking of some quick-fire questions.
Okay.
You went on this holiday with your family, but you also managed to play golf.
Mm-hmm.
What are your top 3 golfing destinations you can also take your family?
Well, at the risk of setting an alarm off, Skibo Castle is basically the best place to be doing anything.
Yeah, right, you can't actually do that.
Can't have that. Well, I think St Andrews is really cool because the town itself is fascinating. So you'd think that St Andrews is a town for golfers, and you'd be right, but there's also loads to do for non-golfers as well, so I think that's a genuine destination. And I suppose if you're looking at a bit of Glen Eagles, I think you'd probably have quite a nice time at Glen Eagles.
Yeah, again, it's sort of difficult money-wise.
A little bit difficult money-wise, yeah.
You've had some good holidays in Norfolk and dug out some really good golf there, haven't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good place to go because you're never very far away from the beach, are you? If you're on that Norfolk coast, some great beaches down there.
Okay, on this trip, you can get to Machrihanish by ferry, plane or car. Which of those would you prefer to travel in?
Well, I think if you can get there by boat and the boats work out, I think that's quite a romantic way of doing it.
Boat's your best form of transport.
So, yeah.
And finally, are you offended by wind farms?
No, not too much. I thought you were going to ask me, and I'm relieved that you haven't, to compare Machrihanish and Mach Dunes, but you haven't.
Thank you, Dan, that was absolutely brilliant. And thank you for watching. So do tune in for this again. You can watch this on our website, nationalclubgolfer.com. You can watch on our YouTube channel by typing National Club Golfer into the search box. You can hear more from Dan Murphy, either on this programme or on our regular podcast, which you'll find on our Niggle newsletter on a Wednesday. We'd love to hear what you think, so do leave some comments below, do send us a tweet. And if you've got any suggestions for golf courses you think we should be talking about, or ones we should go and play, then again, do write in and say so. Again, thanks for listening. See you soon.